Sister Enya, Abstinence Truth. I get what you're saying. I think we're seeing it differently. The breeding process took place in slavery, making it a learned behavior. Are you coming from a perspective of evolution?
You want me to answer that?
Yes, sir. If you can.
Yeah. Again, it is a thing of evolution. Evolution and breeding. Black people tend to be more aggressive. Asian people tend to be more timid. If you look at their history, if you look at Black history, we are more aggressive. And I don't think it had anything to do with colonization or slavery. It's just that it is in our genetic code. Some white groups tend to be more aggressive. Like, for example, Eastern white people like Russians and Siberians tend to be more aggressive whites than Western whites. A lot of it probably has to do with their climate and them breeding. So yeah, it's probably a matter of genetics. Like, those people were breeding with each other, and those genetic traits just passed on to each other. They're in this cold ass environment, so they're always angry. Then they're breeding with other angry people in this cold environment. There you get Siberians, who tend to be more aggressive than whites from Germany or whites from France or something. I mean, think about France. French whites are timid to me, but think about their territory. They're not, or Italians. Italians are, at one point the Italians were the Roman Empire, but Italians are very timid and weak to me because they are from a warmer climate. They're not like their German counterparts. They're not like their British counterparts. Isn't it funny that the Brits, who have the worst weather, isn't it funny that they literally conquered the entire planet? Could it be that they were aggressive as shit because of their genetics and because of their climate made them that way? I don't know.
You know what, brother? Could it be that genetically, to survive the situation that the slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade, only the best genetically set up people could survive that, to get here?
I agree with that.
And to live that, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now,
I don't think Asians could have survived the transatlantic slave trade.
Here's where I think no, I don't think that either. I don't think anybody else would have. Nobody else would have been able to survive that, in my opinion. But I think what me and Sister Enya having this bump in the road is, see, slavery, they taught us so many different lessons. They taught us, and you being an educator, you know about positive and negative reinforcement, right? So what they negatively reinforced us to behave in ways that, like, for example, today people say Black people don't have no shame, right? We don't have no shame. Why? We didn't need shame. You don't need shame. When you're a slave, you don't need shame. The master can come and tell you to do whatever. He can tell you do whatever, right? Shame is just going to get in your way of survival. Shame is going to actually go against your survival instinct. So you can't have shame, right? Shame is unnecessary. So as you can see, it's not about breeding it out. It's about negative reinforcing it. And then having the mothers of those boys telling the boys, don't buck up against the master, and breeding fear into the boys to fear white people, to the point where we may still have some of that PTSD today. It may not be as blatant as, don't be scared, but it may be like, hey, just let that go. Let this go. Let that go. Until we get to the point where we had a situation like what we had in the 1950s and 60s, where we just finally had to say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. You're going to take a lady getting off of work and put her in jail because she's tired and wants to sit down in front of the bus. That's crazy. We're not taking this no more. Can you see where we're coming from, brother? Can you see where? I mean, I see you intelligent enough to see that, but do you see, or you have any rebut to that position?
Well, the only rebuttal that I have to that position is that I respect your position, but my position is this: Black people had their own bus systems. Black people had their own communities. Black people had their own schools. Black people had their own restaurants. what I think, and I keep on thinking it, Black people somewhere in history, we forgot our deification. We deify other groups. I don't think that slavery was the reason. I think that there is something that happened to us, and I think it.
Time out, brother C.
Yeah.
You don't think that slavery gave us the incentives to deify the Caucasian?
No, I think that.
I could defend that.
Yeah, I think that. Well, in my opinion,
brother.
Again, you could be right, and I could be completely wrong. But what I've always thought was,
same here.
We never were a unified people in Africa, meaning that. So, for example, let's talk about Europe, right?
Sure.
Europe was unified under a religion, which is Christianity. Okay. They also were unified under Latin, French. Yeah. Many languages are Latin languages. Italian, Spanish. Those are Latin-based languages. Now, you do have Germanic languages, but I think even Germanic languages at one point. So Africa never had a centralized language. Africa never had a centralized religion. Okay. And sorry, go ahead. So what I'm saying is that when you have a mixture of people, and no unification and no absolute Black leader, we were probably susceptible to believe anything. You got Negroes running around talking about alhamdulillah and all this nonsense, worshiping the Arab. You got Negroes worshiping, no disrespect, but Black people worshiping, every other person's religion. I know Black people who are talking about they Buddhist. What are you talking about? Yeah. I'm Buddhist.
In your opinion,
in my opinion,
what should they be? What should they be? I mean, religiously.
I don't know what they should be.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is this: there ain't no East Indian worshiping the Orisha. The Orisha are African deities amongst the Yoruba people. Right. The only Black people on the planet that have some sort of religion that is unique to me are the Rastafari. Other than that, Black people don't have a religious base where they can sway the people. And so obviously Christianity sways a certain level of political thinking, of economic thinking, right? So, to be completely honest, look at the economy of Christianity. Look at the Vatican. Look at, let's say whites with Christianity. Whites with Christianity, they're not as religious now as they were, but, everything is in the name of God. Oh, God bless me with this, God this. Blacks never really had that. So in my opinion, and again, I could be wrong, the reason why we view whites as superior and their stuff as superior is because we really never viewed our own culture as superior. And we never had a superior deity. Like our deities didn't look like us. And so when they came over, it's like, oh, that's something new. So hear me out for a minute. You ever heard of the cargo cults?
No, sir.
So there are Black people that are in what is called Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is a Southeast Asian island, and it's occupied by Blacks that look like me and you. And a lot of scientists suggest that these are Blacks that are, they never really have been in contact with people. So when they saw airplanes and a lot of the cargo fell, they started worshiping the planes. So they called them cargo cults. People can look this up.
Okay.
And you ever watch Star Trek?
Yes.
Okay. Do you watch the new movies?
I've seen maybe a couple of them.
So there's a movie called so back in the day they had a movie called Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. J.J. Abrams redid the movie, and it's called Star Trek Into Darkness. It's nothing like the first movie. It's trash. It came out in 2013. Okay. In the movie, in the beginning of the movie, Chris Pine, who's playing Captain Kirk,
Right.
him and McCoy are on this primitive planet. It's called Niburu. They're on this planet, and these people are primitive. They're probably in the Stone Age, right?
Okay.
It's a scene of these primitive beings, and they're worshiping some sort of statue or some sort of scribe or something. Kirk and McCoy steal some sort of sacred thing, all to get these people away from this exploding volcano. So obviously the people started to chase them.
Right.
Okay. Kirk and McCoy jump into the ocean, and the Enterprise is in the ocean. The Enterprise comes out of the ocean, and those same primitive people, they stop worshiping whatever they were worshiping. And you know what they did when they saw the Enterprise?
What?
They bowed down to the Enterprise and started worshiping the Enterprise.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is that, and to use that story, is that maybe our people saw greater technology with whites, and they saw a better life with the whites, and so therefore they started worshiping these people. And I think
you're talking about the people here in America.
I think that black people came into contact with other groups of people, and they may have had more advanced technology or something, and they started worshiping them because they appeared to be more advanced. Appeared. I'm using the word appeared very politically here.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
I'm careful.
But I'm having an issue with the situation here in America, because that is the poorest example of people having opportunity and not hitting on that opportunity here in America. And so if that, we need to find out why and how we can fix it, right? So how can we fix something if we don't know what the situation is, right? And so if you're saying that we came into contact with them like just a happenstance, that's not what happened with us here in America. And most of the black people that's in the Caribbean
there are a lot of accounts. There are a lot of accounts that I have read that said that a lot of Africans willingly went to the New World. Now, whether that's true, I don't know. But I look at how we act now. I've seen black people, a white man could be talking niggas. I'm like, this nigga's he's a hillbilly. He's a fucking hillbilly. And, sorry. I'm like, he's a hillbilly, and y'all just sitting there listening to him. And their eyes are like, and I'm like, what? And so what I'm saying is that it's possible that wasn't bred out of us. Now, I don't have it. I don't view anybody as better than me. I do acknowledge the fact that, they have technology, or the elites, not your average white. But the thing of the matter is that it could be that we have not bred certain things out of our genetic pool, like the worship of others. I think that is in our genetic pool, because it goes back to the thing what you're saying about Rosa Parks. Yeah, I agree. It goes back to what you're saying about Rosa. Yeah, just like with Rosa Parks. Why do y'all care about riding the white man's bus? Why do y'all care about going into the white man's restaurant? Make your own restaurant. And that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about. He said, y'all fighting to go into this place and they disrespecting you, they spitting on you, they doing all this crazy. That's craziness. Because you couldn't be black right now and white people come into your restaurant and you do that to them, and they would never come back. They say, oh, those black people are assholes. I'm never going there again. They spit on me. Whites are just different like that. We want to be loved by everybody, because I think that we haven't bred this thing out of us, some sort of like docileness, like we're docile or something. And it's like we want people to love us like we love everybody, and that's the problem.
Well, have you?
You will never see it. I'm sorry,
brother. See, let me say this. Are you familiar with the occurrence of buck breaking? Are you familiar with the buck breaking process?
I'm very familiar with buck breaking, and I wrote a paper against the idea that ever even happened. And I'm very familiar with that. Okay. And I'll tell you why I wrote a paper against that in college. And
I would love for you to tell us that, brother.
And it got me chased out of class when I presented it. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're I don't know how old you are, but I'm pretty sure you own a TV.
53.
Okay,
53,
so
brother.
you're a Gen X but boomer. You're in the cuff.
Probably
You're in between,
boomer.
right?
More,
You're like
boomer.
you could be considered a Gen X too, right?
Right.
Okay. So you grew up watching TV.
Yeah.
You're a latchkey kid, right?
Okay. I
Yeah,
was definitely a latchkey kid.
you're a latchkey kid, you know. And you
Yeah.
grew up watching TV, right? That's that
Right.
generation.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
You have a TV. You have a TV now?
I do.
Okay. A flat screen. I'm assuming you look like you got
Of
like a
course.
60-inch in the man cave. Okay.
not even, brother. Maybe about a 40
Okay.
inch, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The manufacturing process to make a TV, it may not be complicated to an engineer. It may not be complicated, but there's a lot of things that go into making a TV. There's a lot of components that go into making a TV, right?
Yes.
Can you imagine during transit? Could you imagine during transit somebody breaking your TV?
What you mean on transit? What do you mean? Like delivering it to me?
During the entire during the entire manufacturing process from raw ore in the earth to a finished product. Could you imagine somebody breaking your TV on purpose before it gets to you?
I guess it could happen, yeah.
But I'm saying, I said on purpose, though. I mean, generally speaking, on purpose.
You mean breaking it on purpose and then still delivering it to me?
And then delivering it to you.
I mean, I guess it's possible, yeah.
Okay. But that generally doesn't happen because I'm assuming your TV works right now.
No.
Okay. No. Now, what I wrote when I was a kid, and I was in African Studies class, I wrote that I don't think buck breaking happened, or at least at the scale that we're taught.
Okay.
You mean to tell me, let's start from the beginning. Okay, so buck breaking supposedly starts in Africa. You mean to tell me somehow they kidnapped all these grown-ass human beings, put them on boats? You mean to tell me that people were on these boats beating and whipping these Africans, tossing some of them off the boat, right? Then when they got to the islands to be seasoned, you mean they, in front of other human beings, raped and beat the biggest man in the group? Now, that may sound plausible to get these people in line to become slaves. But let's be completely honest. Imagine this for a minute, right? You see somebody rape a man in front of you and beat him in front of you. Are you really gonna be mentally ready to work, like plant some seeds and work the fields? Do you honestly think that your psyche is gonna be there to do something like that?
Well, can I respond to you, brother C?
Yeah.
Okay, let me respond to you, brother. The human beings is one of the most adaptable animals on the planet. You can go and you can see human beings living in some of the most lavish places in the world, and they live there like it's no big deal, right? At the same time, if you go to some of these third world countries, man, you can see people living with rats running across the shit. You can be here in America and see that rats living and running across the floor and everything like that, and they just be like it's no big deal, right? But my point is that human beings are able to, once that survival button has been pushed, now you got to survive. Your daddy can't protect you. Your mama can't protect you. Nobody can protect you. You got to survive. So whatever you got to do to survive, you got to survive. So if you watching this situation occur and you know, hey, if I be defiant to this person, this is what's going to happen to me, then I know I better not, that lesson is learned. I better not defy. Do you think do you disagree with that possibility?
No, I actually agree with your possibility, but my position stands. I don't believe that people who had a business they delivered a broken product to the buyer. I just don't believe that.
What do you mean in a broken? What do you mean as a broken product, brother? Elaborate on that for us.
My thing is this, and I've always said this: we are no different from our ancestors.
Okay.
I mean, think about this. I'm 37. I swear I was 10 years old 2 days ago. Time goes by so fast.
Right. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So who's to say that 200 years isn't, that, I mean, yeah, we look at 200 like, oh, that's a lot, but maybe 200 years isn't that much. Maybe we're just no different than our ancestors. I've seen black females, an Arab boy walk into the room. Oh, he's so cute. I've seen white boys walk into a room, black chicks who look down upon black dudes. Oh, look at him. I've seen white girls walk into a room, black dudes like, oh man, I'm gonna get that. Who's to say that our ancestors weren't like that? Who's to say when the white man walked over there with his gold hair, his white skin, who's to say that our ancestors weren't like, oh girl, wow, he different. He don't look like this black nigga right here. Who's to say that they weren't like that? Who's to say that the white man didn't go over there and didn't learn the language and said, listen, we got some new land over there, baby. Why don't you come work the land with us? Who's to say he wasn't like that? And black women in Africa are like, oh, well, really? You got some new land over there? I'll go over there. Who's to say that our ancestors weren't really like that for real? Who's to say that maybe 50% of the transatlantic slave trade wasn't like that? Maybe it really wasn't a slave trade. Maybe people just voluntarily came to the United States.
You're talking crazy.
I'm not saying that happened.
You're talking crazy.
Oh, no, brother Clarence. I'm not saying that happened. But what I'm saying is that you and I both know, you're a little older than me. You know black people just like I do. I've been around the hoodest of the hood, and I've been around the uppity of the most uppity class blacks. I know black people. Black people act like that now. It's not that hard to believe that maybe they acted like that 200 years ago. I kind of believe it. I've seen it. I've seen white people talk to black people, and I've seen Negroes have Kool-Aid smiles. So who's to say black? Oh, listen. We fight. Listen, think about how crazy this is. We fight to be around these people, despite supposedly. Now, think about this for a minute. And this is what used to get me almost beat up in my African studies class. Now, these people supposedly lynched us, raped our people, did all these atrocities. Right. But why did our ancestors fight to live in their neighborhoods? Why did they fight to go to their restaurants? If I'm a black person in the 40s or the 50s, I don't know if a white person's in the back hot spitting in my food. I'm like, I ain't about to go there. But why did blacks go there? And so when I started asking these questions, that's when people started saying, hey man, you got 5 minutes before the bell rings in 5 minutes. Maybe you should leave a little early. Yeah, because I started asking questions. I said, wait a minute, if these people are so evil, why were they fighting so hard to be around these people? Because
can I answer that question, brother?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me. I want you to finish, brother. I want you to finish because you're a very intelligent brother.
Thank you.
And even though I don't agree, you're very eloquent with your points. However, let me throw this out there with it.
Sure.
Our people, if they have always been, they felt like since they've been here, they felt like white people had the best of everything. And so they feel like in some kind of way in their head, they feel like if I'm only as good as the best white person. So I got to sit next to white people. We had our own bus companies, we had our own taxi companies, we had our own stock trading companies, we had everything. We had our own businesses, we had our own lunch counters. And you're right, brother. You could go sit next to black people and sit in one of our restaurants and get service. But you know how you just like me, you know how black people are. You go to the black restaurant, they're out of hot sauce, they're out of salt, they're out of whatever, they're out of everything, but you still gonna go there anyway because they got the best food, whatever, right? That's just how our people operate. But for some reason, Martin Luther King was able to sell our people on the fact that if you go, things will be better if we can go into their restaurants. Things will be better if we can go to their schools. Things will be better for us if we can be accepted by them as on an equal footing. Things were that was the problem that Malcolm X and Martin King had, the difference between the two, where Malcolm was saying Caucasian is not the standard of behavior by which we should be measuring ourselves. He's not the standard. You need to keep your schools, keep your own, and teach yourself your history. Because like you mentioned before, you mentioned about the Jew don't let nobody else teach his children history. They teach their own history. They got their own schools. They teach their own children history, right? What I'm saying is there's so much evidence that Caucasian has done these of the Caucasian viciousness towards us that it's hard for me to accept what you're saying unless you have some other evidence. I mean, hypothesizing about it, that's cool. You can hypothesize about it, brother, but to say that, I know you're not making a definitive stance, but I'm just saying it. I want people to understand that this is my opinion, that there's so much evidence about their brutality towards us that it's hard for me to even walk down the road with you on hypothesizing that it may not be true. We have so much evidence of the Klan, the White Knights, and have them just brutalizing our people for nothing but human rights. So it's difficult for me to take that walk. Can you understand that, Brother C?
Well, yeah, I can understand your sentiment, and I can understand, where you're coming from. But I'm gonna be even more honest with you, man. The average black before the '60s didn't really even live around whites. I mean, the truth be told, the average black before the '60s didn't even interact with whites. A lot of things that we're told maybe didn't happen at the scale that's presented to us in history or by stories. Now, again, I'm not saying that these things didn't happen. I'm just saying that maybe everything didn't happen at that scale. Maybe the books, the movies that we see, even the game of telephone by listening to old blacks, maybe it's a mechanism to keep us enslaved. I just can't believe in my head. And again, Brother Clarence, thank you for letting me talk. Because a lot of times I get kicked off a panel.
No, man. You're very welcome, brother. Anytime.
Yeah, but I don't think that our ancestors, and please forgive me, I don't think that they were that much of punks to get for grown men to be taken from a continent. Like I mean, the idea that this is the tragedy of children. Children believe anything. When I was 5 and 6 years old, I thought that white people went into Africa and grabbed grown men and just took them on these boats. And then when I got older and when I was around other blacks and I saw these big Negro muscular bodies, I said, wait a minute. Now this Negro, he's super, he's strong as an ox. I'm talking about Negro as my friend. I said, wait a minute. Ain't no way in hell that you could convince me to believe that white people just went into Africa and were just grabbing black people. There had to be some way that if they did it, there had to be some way.
There were several ways they did it, brother.
Okay, right. So what I'm saying is that I don't think that the transatlantic slave trade happened the way that it is presented to us. I think the way that we're taught, it further keeps you enslaved to believe that these people were so powerful. I just don't believe it. Maybe a lot of black Americans, maybe a lot of black people were already on the continent of North America. Maybe a lot of slavery, maybe there weren't that many people taken to the New World, which was this world, right? Maybe slavery wasn't as brutal as we think. It's just a lot of questions here. It's just a lot of questions. Because here goes the thing. I was born in 1984. I don't know what happened in 1844, 1817.
Right.
And you're showing me pictures like okay, so it's pictures of a whole bunch of slaves supposedly. I don't know what to believe. We've been lied to so much.
True.
That those pictures that are presented to us, you know, the one picture with the black dude with the thing around his neck, I'm like, man, maybe that's just something that some white people created so that they can maintain some sort of power that they know that they're losing. Yeah, pick this black guy here, put this around, pay him a couple of dollars, put this around him, say he was a slave. Maybe that's what really happened. Again, I don't know, but what I do know is this: I think teaching slavery to African American people is probably the worst thing you can do. Because you ever notice the smile that white people have when they see a slave movie and they like that. They're like, oh, yeah, John, how do you think about slavery? You ever notice like when a white person asks you about slavery, they just had a smile on their face like, oh, you guys were slaves. And it's like, why is he so happy about that? Maybe we really weren't for real. And I think that's what it really is. Maybe we've always been a superior. Maybe we are superior. We just don't know it. I don't know. I just know this. It's just a lot of questions I have because I wasn't born back then and I don't have a time machine, but I've never been convinced of buck breaking at the level that we're taught. I'm saying at the level that we're taught. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I just can't fathom a Negro as big as LeBron James being buck broke. I'm like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe because I'm thinking of it from the perspective of living now, but I just can't imagine something like that.
Right. Brother C, do you have any children?
I do not. No.
Okay.
I don't.
So let me tell you how they were able to get this off.
Okay.
So what they would do, and this is why black men act like today they have no connection. They're so easily to disconnect from people that they have a blood relation to, or a emotional attachment to.
Sure.
Because what they would do is they would say, okay, we're going to if you don't do what we say, we're going to do something to you. And if the brothers say, well, do what you want to do to me. And they say, after we get done with you, we're going after your daughter. We're going to go after your wife and your daughter. In that instance, the brother would say, well, I will give my life to save theirs, right? Okay, I'll do it. So they'll do they pressure you because of your relationships with other people. So black men now had to start acting like they don't have no feelings for no one, because to protect these people, they have to act like I don't have no feelings for you. And we've carried that on into today, right? Because black men, we have to act like, oh, well, a lot of times, just like we will act like if the white man saw you reading, if they caught you reading, or they could catch you being able to add or subtract, you have to hide your intellect, because your intellect puts you in danger of his retribution from the Caucasians. So you have to hide it. So a lot of times, same thing. Now we're the same way, but now Caucasians not even there. We like that on remote control, right? You go to school, like you said, you in class, you just have a different opinion, but they're going after you because your intellect is threatening what the construct they got in their mind. They have a city built in their head that operates off of what they've already been taught. Go ahead, Brother C.
I want to ask you a question. And
yes, sir.
Goes along with what you're saying. If the white man had a system of buck breaking black men, how come he didn't do it to the Indian when he went over in India and conquered the country? How come he didn't do it to other groups of people? And these are the questions I've always asked myself. Wait a minute, why? Okay, so let's say, for example, he did do all these things. Why didn't he do it to the indigenous South America? They don't have any tales of this. And not to say that if he did, they didn't admit to it, but it just seems like with our people, we say these things happen. And I'll tell you something else growing up. Anybody in the chat, I challenge you. Find me a slave photo of a mulatto. Most slaves are depicted as dark skinned. When people say that the white man was just raping black women, I say, well, shit. It seems like lighter skinned people came around in the 1900s than they did in the 1800s, and so it just again, I'm not saying that these things did not happen, but what I'm saying is that it just boggles my mind that black people were darker in the 1800s and then we got lighter in the 1900s. Could it be that black people just wanted to sleep with whites and whites wanted to sleep with blacks and there was a lot of intermingling in the 1900s? I mean, it's
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure, brother.
that's all I'm saying.
I'm
Because
sure.
I'm telling you, you go back and look at a lot of slave photos. Man, those blacks are as black as me and you. It's like, oh, who got raped then? Because obviously, if somebody got raped, they would have some sort of mulatto in the photo. Where were the mulattoes at?
Well, the mulattoes were in the house, brother. You don't really see too many.
And that's the thing too. It's like
photos of people in the house.
But here goes the thing: we don't really know. Okay, well, how come there's no photos of mulattoes in the house then?
I'm not saying that. Well, like I said, you don't see too many photos of white slave owners themselves. You don't see too many of them. So they probably weren't going around saying, "Oh, we're going to take pictures of the people in the house." Most of the slave photos you see is around the end of slavery. It's near the end of slavery.
Now that I gotta disagree with you. There are a lot of slave owner photos. They're the first 20 they're the first 20 presidents of the United States of America.
No. I'm talking about
I was
house.
joking. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm about to say.
The president.
You can go in your wallet, right?
Owners.
You can go in your wallet right now and find pictures of slave owners, right?
Yeah, the president's slave owners. Yeah.
I agree with you, brother C. But at the same time, I don't want to. What I don't want to do is let you get too far. I'm willing to walk with you, brother. I'm willing to walk with you. I just, when you get to a place where we just get to an impasse, that's when I'm gonna say something, and then I'll let you clear it up. And you've been doing a good job so far. So I'm just telling you what I'm doing, man. And you know what the good part about it is, I think one way, you think another way, but we both been respectful about it. We both been
unless it's math or science, nobody really knows. So your viewpoint could be just as valid as mine. Other than math, where 1 + 1 is 2, then you could say you could have any viewpoint and it could be just as right. I mean, the only factual things in the universe are math. I mean, other than that, it's up for discussion.
Yeah,
I mean, you could argue the point that killing is right. You know, I mean, not to say that it's right or wrong. I mean, there's obviously consequences under law, but hell, I mean, you could say that killing is right. I mean, I don't know, maybe it is right, but again, the thing of the matter is that a lot of our people aren't like you or I. Like, they're not open for other discussion. Because again, I don't necessarily believe everything that I'm saying either. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, and you should, brother. And so I'm just saying, there's evidence to support. There's a lot of evidence to support the way I'm thinking about it, and I'm looking for the evidence to support the way you're thinking about it. That's all. I don't have, because if you bring new evidence, then we obviously, if we're intelligent, we're gonna have to look at that evidence and say, okay, wait a minute, maybe this is not the way we thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? So, but with the slave situation, I do think that we have a little bit of a disagreement twerk on that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just natural, because that's what you've been taught. That's what you've heard, and of course, I mean, but it's just, I tend to believe that. Oh, what is the solution? Oh, wow. I guess the solution is
and brother C, not only with what you're about to take, brother C, hold on. Not with the solution about whatever else you want to talk about, but definitely, what is the solution about the unprotected sex with the unvetted people? That I want you to get that to that last. But whatever else you're going to talk about, go ahead and go into that. You know, but
let me. I'll get to that one. The whole thing about having sex unprotected is that we're animals, we're apes. I believe that we're some sort of we're like the best ape. So we're the best. We're better than the orangutan. We're better than the gorilla. We're better than the chimpanzee. We're better than the bonobo. The human is the best ape, but still we're an ape. So we're an animal where we function off of emotion. The best thing that you can do in terms of unprotected sex is just to try to overcome your natural ape instincts. That's just my take on it. Because, you know, even though, you know, again, we are an ape, we're a high functioning ape, and we have responsibilities to take care of the planet, as far as I know of. I mean, maybe we're not, but it seems that way. Now, to answer the question about the solution is that blacks, and including myself, we embrace the STEMs, mathematics and science, technology. That's where the planet is going.
Agreed.
We have to start thinking towards the future. And the white man, not every white man, not the hillbilly, of course, not, I'm talking about the white man. I'm talking about Jeff Bezos and Elon. I'm talking about, when I say Clarence, when I say the white man, I ain't talking about your next door neighbor who works at Costco. I'm talking about the white man. We got to be like the white man. We got to be like the Asian. They're looking towards the future. They're not looking towards the past. So science, technology, engineering, mathematics, becoming a spacefaring race. That's where we're going. All that stuff about the past, beating on drums, get out of here. To me, that's primitive. I think the solution is quit worrying about the ancestors. The ancestors didn't win. Flat out, they didn't win. There's nothing to be. I mean, I hate to say this, it's like we focus too much on the ancestors instead of focusing on our descendants. That's what Black people should start saying. Our descendants, not our ancestors. Our ancestors lost. Our ancestors were weak in terms of they lost. Period. They weren't weak like to get rid of them, but they lost. We have to think about our descendants. So the reason why I don't have children is because I want to be wealthy enough to send them to the best private schools, have the best education, and the best and have generational wealth. I don't want to just be a middle class. I grew up in the upper middle class. I want to be rich, so that my descendants can be rich. So that's the solution. Go ahead.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'll put a solution out there too later. But I want to get your response to this, brother. What is your response to Sister Enya saying abstinence until marriage? What is your response to that?
Well, I mean, again, we're an animal. We're an animal. We have instincts, and I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I want to use this word so bad. It begins with a C, but I don't want to use it out of respect for what you said about the family. Listen, every man wants to get some. It begins with a C, and it rhymes with a ooh, whatever. But every man wants to get that. But I don't believe in abstinence. I believe in practicing safe sex, and particularly being responsible enough to who to breed with, obviously. But not until marriage. No. Come on, that's not being realistic. We're an ape. You put two dogs in the room, one male, one female. Obviously, nature kicks in.
Okay. So you don't think that there's a way where, well, let me ask you this. So if that's your theory is, hey, we're apes, we're animals, does a woman's body count, would a woman's body count have anything would that matter to you at all? Like she said, I used to do porn, and I had one more video where I had to sleep with 100 guys in that one video, or something like that. Would that have any? Okay, can you please explain how that dichotomy and how that works?
Well, I mean, to be completely honest, I know why you asked this question. No man wants the woman that he wants to be with to be promiscuous, and I guess it comes with nature. You don't want to run the risk of this woman being promiscuous while you're with her, and then you end up taking care of another man's kid. That's not natural. I mean, no animal in the animal kingdom, I think, does that. I think lions actually kill a lion cubs that aren't theirs. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to compare us to the lion, but we're still an animal. No man generally wants to give his resources to a child that's not his. And so
where's the line? Where's the cutoff line for promiscuity? Where's the cutoff line?
Well, I guess, okay, so I'm a little different, Clarence. If you're over the age of 30 and, you've been with more than 3 or 4 partners, it kind of, it's a turnoff for me, because now you're old, and then, it's like, you're older now, you're past the wall, etc. But if you're like 18 and you have 3 partners, it's like, well, she still is young, and 3 is not really a lot, and she kind of is like a virgin. It's a difference. Now, if you are 18, is 50 or stuff like that, that's disgusting. But with me is how old you are, So if you're 30 something, you pretty much, in my opinion, have to be 1 or a virgin. but you can't be you can't have a lot of numbers if you're older to me.
Well, I mean, but isn't it natural? Doesn't it seem like it will be naturally as the years go on, they would increase, the number would increase because they would be trying.
And unfortunately, as the years go on, the more numbers they get and the older they get, it's like they lose their sexual market value. So unfortunately, no, not for me. No.
So then, how is it that abstinence is a bad thing? How is abstinence a bad thing if a woman loses with every sexual encounter, she chips off some of her sexual market value? How then is abstinence a bad situation? And I'm not saying you saying it's bad. I'm just saying, how would it be considered a bad situation? Because I know that most of the culture, today's culture, they look at abstinence as unrealistic, as an unrealistic way to curb sexual behavior. So, but I'm saying, why would it be bad if it will keep that? It will keep her sexual market value intact.
Well, the question was if you're going to marry her, right? I guess it would be bad in the sense.
Well, I mean, I'm saying however you want to say it, brother. However you want to. Yeah, well, let's just say, yeah, you're trying to marry her. You're trying to marry her.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's like you still want to sleep with her,
right?
So, man, that's a difficult question. I don't know if I can answer that one. Actually, that's a difficult question. Yeah, I don't know if I can answer that one.
Think about it 1 second, brother C. Let me hit this chat real quick with brother Scorp. Brother Scorp, didn't know that about the lions. Oh yeah, brother. A new lion comes into the takes over a pride. The first thing he does, any cubs under a certain age, like baby cubs, like under a year or two, first thing he does is go in there and kill all those cubs. First thing he does. That's why when the mother of those cubs sees the new lion winning, she got a decision to make. She can either leave, but if she stays, she knows what's going to happen. That lion is not going to put his resources and time and protection into protection another man's bloodline, which he knows at some point is going to grow up and rise up to try to overtake him. He's not going to do that. So that's definitely real, brother.
Yep. And that's what happens. And truth be told, that's what happens in a lot of.
Go ahead, brother. See, I'm just reading the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so that's what happens in a lot of, I've seen it before, man. Kids grow up with a stepfather. They be like, man, you ain't my daddy, man. When they get a little 16, right. 17, thinking they can fight, then they then a grown man beating up some other man kid, or vice versa. I see one where a kid beating up the stepfather. I'm like, what kind of crazy stuff is this? It ain't worth it. It's not, man. It's not worth it.
Brother, I tried. I was watching because I watch a lot of animal shows. So I was watching the animal show, and they said no other animal, stepfathers are not in no other animal except for human beings. I think penguins are the only ones. And the reason why penguins do it is because of the shortage of females.
Oh, okay.
The females are in such high demand that they're willing to come in and take over for another penguin. But other than that, you left alone, you will not find no other man that will raise another male's.
I can't do it. I can't do it, man. Because you know what? The kid is always a reminder that she was getting her back blown out, and I can't do it. That's all I see. Just. I mean, that's always a constant reminder. It's like, oh no, I can't do it.
And I have videos. Going into this, and not to see. A lot of times when you say what you're saying, right? They chase me around too, brother. They say, oh, well, you trying to make us feel bad. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. What I'm trying to do is express this so that people that's younger than you that haven't put themselves in a situation yet can see how men really look at the situation, so they won't put themselves in a situation. That's all I'm trying to do, right? Let me hit this chat real quick, brother C. Thank you for hanging in there with me, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Man,
very interesting.
Here, man.
Sister Enya, well, Well, I have to go. This is a very good conversation, Mr. Truth. Thank you for your perspective. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you, Sister Anya. We'll see you later on the flip side. Brother Scorp, I can't raise another man child either, but I can be a mentor. What you said about that, Brother C?
Either Scorpion Ezreal is young, under 25, or
I think so.
It's two things. Either he's younger than 25, or he has grown up with a parent that probably has worked at a nonprofit. Now, hear me out.
Okay.
I used to work at nonprofit organizations, and they bring, I'm talking about nonprofit organizations like social services. They tend to be nonprofit organizations.
Sure.
All these little, these little community organizations like, help the Black kids, all these little silly ass community organizations, right? Scorpion, let me tell you something, man. If you are younger than 25 or you work at a nonprofit, let me tell you something. The likelihood of one of these kids becoming a success, and I mean success as in a generational success, that means that you've mentored them, they've created some sort of institution that can help your children in the future, the likelihood is zero. More than likely, you're helping a kid who's going to end up being, and no offense, middle class, blue collar. And there's nothing wrong with being blue collar. There's nothing wrong with being middle class. But the idea of helping people out too is that you help out effectively. If the kid you're mentoring is a Mensa, he's a Mensa, Mensa is, right, Clarence. He's scored high on Mensa. That this kid is, this kid is gonna be, he's a whiz kid. Like, this kid is gonna be a multi-millionaire. Then I can understand mentoring that kid. But generally, you're just mentoring the next kid who's gonna work at Walmart as a stock boy or something. And then now I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but it's no point in wasting your time as a man. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, Clarence. I'm 37, man. I swear it was just 2 days ago, my dad was throwing me up in there and catching me, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember watching TV with my dad. He's put his arm around me. I'm like, man, I feel safe as hell. I remember my mom, when I used to get sick, my mom would lay next to me, and all she had to do was touch me, and I felt like I was healed again.
Yeah.
But now I'm a grown ass man. I'm damn near 50. Right. And so what I'm saying is that, Scorpion, what's going to happen, and I see it a lot. A lot of these Black men, they think they have to help Black boys. No, you have to be selfish. You have to thrive to develop yourself and cultivate yourself. That's how you help the community. Be a better Black man. Don't be around some little boys and then, people looking at you funny, like, why is he always around them little boys? But that's the truth. Black men, stop that. Listen, go watch O'Shea Duke Jackson. He has a great, who O'Shea Duke Jackson is?
Of course, yes.
You on mute. Yeah, go watch O'Shea Duke Jackson. He has a video about that. Black men always. Yeah, you're good now. Yeah, I think Scorpion might be young, because that sounds like somebody young would say. These kids don't listen. I've seen men. Listen, I used to teach. I used to teach in the inner cities too. Man, a lot of times these Black boys, they are so screwed up that they will resent you for helping them. They will turn on you for helping them.
That happen, yes.
They will hurt you.
Yeah.
The best thing you could do for these Black boys is ignore them. I know that sounds evil, but unless they are willing to follow the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and do for self, you can't help these kids. Little I'm sorry. The only people who should help these little kids are their fathers. That's it.
That's what should help them. That's who should help them, brother. I said that's who should help them.
Yeah, that's who should help them.
Let me push back on you, brother C. Brother C, let me push back on you.
Go ahead. You're breaking up a little bit.
If we don't at least try to teach one. I'm not saying you go around the whole community knocking on doors saying, hey, you got a little boy in here? Let me come on in here. But I'm saying, if you notice that What, brother? I ain't even finished yet, brother. See, hold on.
I know, man. But I just envisioned some black man knocking on some door like, I want to help you, black.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, maybe you work like you working someplace at a place where you working at a school or someplace where you got a lot. Like me, I'm a trainer, and so
what kind of
but
trainer?
now I didn't work with young black men. With young, what I mean, like little kids. I work with grown men, like in their mid-20s and stuff, doing career planning for them and different things like that for them, training them on how to operate at the corporate level. However, they're more apt to listen to me because they were actually grown. But it's probably more difficult to get younger boys to listen to you unless you got something they're interested in.
Listen.
But you know what I mean?
If you have to help some kids that are already in that kind of position, you've already lost. Thing of the matter is that in the white race, and I hate to use this as a benchmark, but I have to.
Okay.
The white race.
All right.
There ain't no white people trying to help trailer trash whites that are middle class and upper middle class.
All right.
In the white race, what happens is that the way that they help each other is creating jobs. Black men listen, you want to help some black boys? Create a job. Hey, Tyrone, come here. What old are you? 16? Hey, I got a few. I own a landscaping company. I got a contract. I got like 20 yards I need done. Can you get this done within 2 weeks? Can you get these yards done within a week? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, get it done for me. That should be the end of the conversation. If they can't do it, hey man, that's how you help these boys out. You put money in their pocket. You give them tasks to do. You don't be up there sitting talking. Hey man, look, nah, man. In the white race, they give those types. Listen, Clarence, this is gonna sound messed up, man, but I've seen it. You have to create jobs. You have to. There's a hierarchy. Some blacks are more superior than other blacks. I don't know why our race does not look at it like that. Listen, I have seen it. I have seen intelligent blacks mingling with lower blacks. Those blacks will hurt you. They are designed that way. You can't help them. Not all of them, but I'm saying you generally can't help them. You have to create jobs for them, create opportunities for them. You can't sit there and try to kick knowledge to somebody who doesn't have an IQ like yours. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not gonna have a conversation with a 10-year-old about quantum mechanics. He's too dumb to realize he's 10. So the same thing with somebody who in the white race, a hillbilly, he can't sit there and have a conversation with a C-suite executive of $1 million company. He's a hillbilly. But what he can do is, hey man, you know a trade. Well, by God, you gotta know a trade. Well, what do you know how to do, Billy? Well, I know how to do plumbing. Hey, you know what? My brother owns a plumbing company. He has a few projects that he's done. Can you do it? That's how they help each other out. Our race, nah. That's just my opinion.
I'm saying, brother, because because you brought up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's one part of his mission was to help the underserved. Now,
but he put them Negroes to work.
He did. He didn't put them to work. Let me help you, brother. He didn't put anyone to work. He offered them a job, and it was on them to see the value in what he was offering them and to step in and take it. So he didn't force anybody. Hey, you gotta go sell papers. You gotta go do. All he did was say, hey, if you sitting around not doing nothing, we have a way for you to earn some money. So he did offer them a way to earn money until they could get their own, get their income up for themselves. So that is true. But don't you think that we, as us, those of us that have come so far, do you think that we even owe our people to even try to reach back and help the ones that do want to listen and the ones that do want to walk with us?
No, I'm playing. No, and I'm gonna say it again. We cannot afford.
You are my man, Mr. Truth.
We cannot afford to look in the past There is a reason why that exists, and it exists because we cater and coddle to poor patterns of behavior. What you as a black man need to do with that boy is go to his mom and say, why did you have a child outside of wedlock, ma'am? Why doesn't he have a father to teach him this? We should shame that shit instead of trying to fix it. No, it needs to be shamed from the get-go. Why did you have a child outside of wedlock?
Wait a minute, hold on.
I was
on,
a
brother,
social worker.
Hold on. Brother C, hold on. Brother C, hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. I hear you. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna just say this. Remember, I explained before that the shame was brutalized out of us. That's why our people don't shame doesn't move us anymore.
It wasn't brutalized out of me.
Where shame did move us.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, Clarence. It wasn't. Yeah, not out of me.
As a group, yeah, we have some people. Okay, so but I'm saying, and then here comes the 1960s with the women's empowerment movement that took the shame out of everything that we wanted to have women to be shameful for. The women's empowerment movement moved to make sure that the shame went away. Now you have people like what's her name, the white lady that does the quote unquote slut walk or street worker walk, Amber, whatever her name is. Yeah. She has done this walk where she takes sex workers and does this walk down the street, basically saying you shouldn't shame people that's out there doing sex worker type numbers on bodies, having sex number type body numbers, right? And so what I'm saying is, remember that as you're speaking, that the shame was pushed away from us. So that's why we don't exhibit that shame. Okay.
Yeah.
Now back to what you were saying, brother.
Well, yeah,
Amber Rose. Thank you, brother Scorp. Amber Rose. That's what
I was just pretty much.
Thank you,
I was just pretty much saying that. The way to fix the community is to listen. The only people who follow Amber Rose are women. But let's be completely honest, women don't really have any power for real. Women really listen, let's be honest. Clarence, you seem like a red pill guy, right? You're pretty red pill, right? You're a red pill. Listen. People don't really follow women. Women are not leaders. Let's be honest. Women only follow what the current culture is. Men have allowed women to act wild and do all these shameful things that they're doing. Let men say, you know what? We're gonna start censoring all that. Women will have no power to change it. So what I'm saying is that it's up to men to start shaming. A woman doing a slut walk, okay, but it's up to men as a collective to say, you're a whore, and all those women are whores, and we're gonna shame you. And I bet you women will stop that shit. I bet you it'll go back to how it was back in the day with red light districts. Because what happens is that when men start shaming and men say, you know, forget all this feminist stuff, this Me Too stuff. I'm not catering to you just because you're a woman. I want society to be orderly, and what you're doing is shameful. And if other men stop simping and say, you know what, that is shameful, then women will stop. Clarence,
I agree with you.
Something. No woman in Nazi Germany said anything to their man. You know why? Because their Nazi husbands who were serving the empire were providing for their family. You don't hear about any German women saying, well, you know, my husband was a Nazi and I hated him for that. No, he provided for you. It doesn't matter what system of government. It doesn't matter what political regime. It does not matter. Women will always follow men. And men need to be strong again and say, that's shameful. Don't do that.
But brother,
yeah,
in this society,
yeah,
the black woman has been armed. The black woman has been armed.
She's been
by
armed.
the Caucasian society. So that if you say something against a black woman publicly, they can cancel you, brother.
That
A
is
lot of our
true.
people feel the same way that you feel, but they don't say it because
But
they
look
feel
at
like
Kevin
they can be
Samuels.
canceled.
But look at Kevin Samuels. He has not been canceled.
He came up from the dirt,
canceled.
but he came up from the dirt. He came up from the ground. The media didn't make him. He wasn't a media darling. Nothing. He came up from the ground, so he started his own movement. So that can happen. I'm just saying, on a large scale. I mean, that's why most of these guys are scared to say something.
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels has the backing of most of us, so he's, he's pretty secure. He's not worried about, oh well, if they can't, they really, how you gonna cancel him? There's mostly men listening to him with a few women calling in, but mostly it's men, right? How you gonna cancel him when most of his people are us, right? We're not gonna cancel.
That's what I keep saying.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's what I keep saying.
But there's and then let me say this, brother C. There's nobody for the women to put pressure on except for YouTube. That's the only people they can put pressure on to try to shut him down. And he's not violating any of the YouTube codes of conduct, so they can't do anything. However, if you or me was to go out publicly and we were like a movie star or an athlete or something like that, and we were to say something against single motherhood or abortion or whatever on one of these hot topics, they would get us, brother, and they would cancel you because they.
But here goes the thing,
though,
Clarence. Now here goes the thing, though, Clarence. And thank you for having me on the panel. And I think I'm gonna get up out of here. I gotta take care of something.
Okay, right on, brother. Thank you, sir.
You know the beauty of LeBron James?
What's that?
He's so stupid and dumb. This is a disclaimer. These are not the opinions of Clarence. These are my opinions.
Thank you, brother.
You know the beauty of LeBron James?
That
he's so dumb that he's smart.
Okay.
LeBron James will sit up there and tell you that public schools are great. His kids don't go to public schools. Right. LeBron will sit up there and he will applaud a single mom. LeBron's married, though. A lot of these actors and entertainers and singers and athletes, you are right. They won't say these things. Hey, that's wrong. But their lifestyles prove opposite. And that's the beauty of their hypocrisy. So when people are smart, they say, wait a minute. Beyonce's singing about single ladies. She's been married for 15 years.
Right.
Truth be told, she's been with Jay-Z since the mid-90s. So we're talking about 20-something years here.
Right.
So, yeah, they don't say those things, but you see it in their lifestyle that, wait a minute. They don't believe that because they're living totally different lives. LeBron will sit up there all day long and tell you, I got to worry about my son with the police. LeBron, you know damn well Bronny James, who looks exactly like you, he may be 4 inches shorter. He gets pulled over by the police. They're going to treat him like royalty. Secondly, he's not going to get pulled over in his Ferrari in the Hollywood Hills. So stop it. See, that's the beauty of these stupid idiots who, LeBron will say something like, oh, yeah, the police. But LeBron, let's be honest. Bronny won't get pulled over in Calabasas. LeBronny's never going to drive to the hood of Vegas, the hood of anywhere else in America. So what are you talking about? So when these athletes don't say anything, just look at their lives. Look at the lives of these Black Lives Matter leaders. I think 12 of them have all got caught stealing money, living in mansions somewhere. I'm like, well, isn't that ironic? You Negroes sit up there all day long talking about Black Lives Matter, white people this, white people that, but you're living amongst whitey. So you don't have to say anything. Your lifestyle proves otherwise. And on that note, Clarence, thank you, man. I'm definitely going to subscribe. I'm definitely going to be back, man. Thank you, guys. Yep.
Thank you, man. Hey, before you roll, brother C, can you put your information in the chat, man, so I can put it out here for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now.
Put out your page.
Yeah, I'm gonna
so
do it right
that
now.
I can put it out here in the chat. Okay. Thank you, brother.
Right now.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I put it in. I put it in.
All right, thank you, brother C, man. You was absolute dynamite guest.
Thanks, man.
Private chat. I'm gonna put it up here, brother. Thank you,
Absolutely.
brother. I
And it's the
appreciate you, man.
chaotic
And I hope
truth.
I'm gonna stop by your place. Chaotic Truth. And if anytime, brother, you would feel like stopping by, stop on by, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you. Peace.
You too, brother. What do y'all think, man? What do y'all think, brother Chaotic Truth? I think I disagree with him on just about everything, but he was certainly very that's his channel right there, brother. Y'all want to go down there and check it out. He was certainly very skillful in the way he delivered his information. You know what I mean? He was very skillful with it. But that's what the brother felt. You know what I mean? So he felt how he felt. He came over here and he was telling some wild stories, man. But I appreciated the brother, putting himself out there like that. I didn't want to just mow him down, but I appreciated him out here. I wanted you guys to do like you guys did in the chat, man. Check what you felt like was something to check in the chat. Bruh Scarp, Red Pill, laugh out loud. Yeah, man. I mean, you don't know me very well, do you, huh, Brother Scorp? Brother Scorp, agree. Brother Scorp again. Cardi B had a marriage before a carriage. Yeah, but at the same time, she's telling everybody to, man, stack as many penises as you can, right? This is brother brother Chaotic's page. You guys go there and check it out. See what it's about. You may not agree with brother, but you gotta respect the brother that he stood 10 toes down on what he felt. You know what I mean? Great show, brother Clarence. Thank you, brother Score. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. So you know how I do. I spent about 10 minutes wrapping things up. So what do y'all think? What did y'all think, man? I know we were supposed to be covering unprotected sex with unvetted people. I think we did that, man. We spent about an hour on that, but then he gets cut loose, and so I had to follow him where he was going, and he made a lot of points that I didn't agree with. First one, he said that he said maybe the Atlantic slave trade didn't happen the way that it's purported to have happened, and that one I disagree with. So much evidence to the other side of that I just can't. But I let him say his point. Then he said a couple of other different things. He said that black men should not be trying to help other young black men. The best thing we can do for each other is to leave each other alone and just get more money. I really didn't agree with that, because the thing is, see, if you're a bad person, it's like people in relationships. People in relationships, they're like these people that say, I'm not going to date black women, or I'm not going to date black men. I'm going to date white people at all. That's all I'm going to date, because I had so many problems with black men. Instead of taking a look at the saying to yourself, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the common denominator why I don't have an issue. Maybe I'm the common denominator. They don't do that. What they do is they say, oh, well, if I, it's not me. It's so instead of it being me, I'm just going to go to another race of people. No, maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. Maybe something you doing. So you're going to take the problem that you was giving black men and give it to white men. Or you're going to take the problem that you was giving to black women and give it to white women. Now, granted, white women might handle it differently. And you in your head might say, so she's better. But you still got the same problem. So a lot of us need therapy, because we just don't know how to think. We don't know how to look at the situation from the total angles, all the different angles. Anyway, what y'all think about Brother Chaotic? He came in the building, you know what I mean? He came in. He said a bunch of stuff that was really off the hook. When you guys go back and look at the replay, you're going to say to yourself, damn, what was the dude talking about? And then you're going to look at me and say, damn, bro, Clarence, why you just slam him in the trash can? It's not that because I appreciated him. I respected him. I just disagreed with him. It's like Anton. I don't hate the guy. I mean, I have no problems with him as a person. It's just his business situation that I have a problem with, right? Well, brother Chaotic, man, I would sit down and probably sit down and have a coffee with the brother. If I drank coffee, I drink water. But I mean, I'm just saying, we would sit down and chop it up. The guy came off really well to me. Just his positions were way out there. His positions were a lot of them were unsubstantiated, but I just think that he, but he did a good job defending himself. So, you know what I mean? I really didn't want to, I didn't want to run the spear all the way through him because, it's his first time here. Maybe after a while, I'll get more comfortable. I could put the spear in a little deeper, right? I was just kind of tapping him a little bit here and there, right? Anyway, what y'all think? Did we talk about the risk of unprotected sex with vetted people? I think we covered that. We covered that about hour and a half. Then we got into the whole. We got into a lot of other topics that I think we covered them pretty good. You know what I mean? And I kind of dropped some science on him when he went way over the line. I think I just was. I went in there and tried to bring him back when he went way over the line. But other than that, I think he did a good job. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. Appreciate y'all for stopping through. And appreciate everybody stop by, giving me a drive-by like. Appreciate y'all. And y'all go have a good rest of y'all evening. We'll try to do it again on Thursday if I got the time. And we'll see. What'd you say, Brother Scorp? Let me see what you're talking about here. Brother Scorp, Chaotic did present a good delivery. Yeah, man, he was good at delivering what he was saying, brother. He just his points, he can never substantiate anything he was saying. And you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. See, to say what Brother Chaotic should be saying is, and he said it on a couple of occasions. He said, "This is my opinion." See, when you can't substantiate what you're saying, you gotta say this. You got to qualify. It's called qualifying your argument. You have to qualify it by separating it from the thought of everybody to now it's just your thought, right? It's just the way I think, and you have to qualify it by saying this was my opinion, right? He did that a couple of times, but a couple of times, you know what I'm saying, that testosterone got rolling in him, and he just mashed the gas, right? So every now and then I had to put him back and say, hey, come on back over here to the reality, Brother Brother Chaotic. Come on back over here to the reality of the situation, right? But I'm gonna have him back. If I can get him to come back over here, I'm gonna have him back over here, man, because I like the way he carries himself. He wasn't carrying himself, at least the way he treated us today. He was really he was 10 toes down about what he was talking about, but at the same time, he was he wasn't pushing the issue too far. He pushed it a little bit until I pushed back on him a little bit, but he was still respectful at all points. So I really appreciate that about him. You know, man, even though I didn't agree with what he was saying, I did appreciate the fact. Sister Keisha, thank you, Brother Clarence. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Sister Keisha. You know, I had to go and spend like half of the morning trying to find out how to unblock you because I was like, I didn't. And now, sure enough, when I saw how to find people that you block, you can't do it in StreamYard. You got to go actually on YouTube and then in the YouTube settings and then find out how. So I went into the StreamYard settings and it wasn't nobody blocked in there. So I was like, I didn't block her. I didn't think I did. But then when I went to, I had to go into the YouTube settings and then I said, oh, now it shows me all these people I blocked from the chat. And I'm like, oh, okay. I see now. And then I saw your name in there, so I had to unblock you. Glad to have you back, Sister Keisha. Hope we talked about some stuff that could help you. If y'all want us to talk about something else on Thursday, hit me up. You know, you guys got my email. You can hit me up and we can talk about it. But if not, I'm going to bid y'all to have a nice night. I'm going to have your Adolf Hitler Nazi for all Jews. I'm just liking your video. Here we go again. That's right. So now you guys see the troll. I want you guys to see these trolls that I got now, right? So now I got trolls coming in here, right? So what am I gonna do? One button, bam, they're gone. Boom, they're gone. Anyway, Sister Keisha, and everybody else in the room. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for showing up. I'm gonna shut it down. And like I said, y'all want to talk about something? You know, hit me in the email, and we can talk about it. Until then, I'm gonna close it out. Peace to y'all. Thank y'all for stopping by. Peace.